See, we have two customer, Dell and IBM. Dell side 1, and this is also Dell, same customer. Service provider is connecting just two sides. Like this, it can connect multiple sides. And this is the another side of second company, IBM. Now Dell user also want to use internet. Can they access internet? User who is sitting behind R6 can access internet after configuring MP, BGP and having connectivity between these two sites. After enabling MPLS inside service provider cloud, can users also access internet?
They can access from the LAN side.
Can they access internet from this side? Here is a user. This is LAN. Right? Definitely we don't have any internet connection. And what customized routers are learning from the service provider router? Only other side prefixes, nothing else. Correct?
Correct.
Other side prefixes. So definitely users cannot access internet. For internet access, see, you have two options. You can also ask for internet to your service provider. Like service provider is providing you connectivity, similarly it can also give you one default route. The service provider can advertise, just they will run one command on their BGP router. Router BGP, ES number, address family, IPv4, VRF, Dell, and default information originate. It will start advertising one default route, then definitely users can send public traffic as well. Service provider need internet as well then, right? It will be connected with internet. But the most common scenario is you will purchase internet separately. Right? Maybe this is your main site, right? This customer, Dell customer has one headquarter, let's suppose this is HQ. In HQ he want to install internet, so he will connect internet here. Internet. Now question is, user sitting over here, can this user can access internet or not? Now customer age means you guys are going to configure one default or towards internet. You will perform NAT configuration, NAT for internet access. Done. So this side users can definitely access internet now. Anyone who is sitting over here can access internet. But can this user access?
No.
By default, no. After applying some configuration, definitely they can also access. Like all sites users will access internet from HQ, right? You can see internet traffic is going from HQ. Let's say this is site 2, here I have one another site 3. So all the internet traffic will go through HQ, headquarter, or it can be DCNE main site. So this is one scenario which you can understand, right? If you want to go deep, like you need to perform some extra configuration like default information originate, you can practice that. Another scenario is, what if this MPLS goes down, right? You can see the customer Dell, IBM, right? Their networks are very stable. Right? If there is any maintenance work going on, right, in the service provider network, or there is power hardware failure, software failure, anything, any reason, right? Imagine there is a road and some construction work is going on. So what if service provider fail? Is there any way to communicate? Can these users, like users in site, to access internet? No, they cannot access internet. They cannot communicate with each other. Here you can imagine lots of users, and in this side you can imagine lots of servers, application where you have hosted applications. Nowadays we are hosting application over VM, you all know this, right? So on this server you can imagine lots of VM. Every day the users are accessing, working on this application every time. So you can see we don't have any backup link between multiple sites. So this can be one another scenario. How to perform the configuration, Praful, how to purchase one more connectivity, right? Should I buy one more MPLS connection from another service provider? Please put yourself on mute, guys. What to do now? Between two sides, I need backup link, like backup for this service. Or this is going to be my primary connection, right? Definitely. This is costly. I will pay more for this connection. Now I need less bandwidth, right? Low cost transport, right? Just for backup in case of service or this link primary link failure, it will handle the traffic. So that particular type of link is called as backdoor link. You can imagine one direct fiber cable, right? Like I had told you, L2 VPN. In L2 VPN, both the sites are going to be connected in same broadcast domain, right? Lease line is similar like this. So you can imagine lease line. This particular thing is called backdoor. And I have told you most commonly used IGP protocol in enterprises is OSPF. So in 99% cases you will be running OSPF here. Now see, you will advertise these prefixes in OSPF as well as you are advertising to this provider. So other side will receive all the prefixes of other side from two side on this backdoor link as well as from the service provider. And tell me, if OSPF and BGP both are advertising same prefixes, router will prefer which one? Router will prefer which one? Here, router 7 is receiving prefixes from OSPF and here from BGP, right? Here we have MP BGP, you know this.
Yeah, OSPF.
BGP.
BGP has
No,
what
not
matrix?
BGP. It's the same AS. It's the same AS, BGP 100.
You
So
said
that would.
you
So
said
that would.
EBGP.
EFGRP and
Okay, let's suppose here I am running OSPF, right? OSPF is also very commonly used protocol between P and C. Between P and C, there are two most commonly used protocol, OSPF and BGP. BGP to avoid redistribution, OSPF for simplicity, right? You can keep each site in different OSPF area, like this can be in area 0, this can be in area 1, right, to manage the database, and you can enjoy the topology. So between P and C, let's suppose I am running OSPF. Now tell me, R7 is receiving some prefixes from two sides from same routing protocol OSPF. Which will be the best on R7? R7 will forward traffic from which path? From the backdoor link or from the primary link?
What is the backdoor link? I think I missed it.
Backup link, backup link. Backup link between two sides.
Another MPLS link?
Doesn't matter. You can imagine direct fiber cable.
Okay. Yeah, primary.
So metric will
No.
be considered here, right? Metric, which
No,
is
no, not
having
metric, not metric, brother. Here you are running BGP, so you will redistribute BGP into OSPF. R7 is going to receive side 1 prefixes in form of LSA5, if I am not wrong. And here it will receive in form of LSA1. You know, before metric OSPF check what? OSPF checks prefix type. Here prefix type is O, here E1 or N1 or E2 or N2, like redistributed route. So definitely we prefer O route. So what will happen? Traffic will start traveling from this backup link, right, where we have less bandwidth. No, 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 we don't this. So here you can understand some manipulation, right? What we can manipulate here. If you know the OSPF properly, MP BGP service, and you can configure it. You can try these two.
Sir, really was not able to understand the backup link. If you can please again reiterate and.
Anyone have understood the backup link? Anyone? Anyone have understood backup link? What is backdoor link? or why I have added the backup link between two sites?
Not sure about the other people, but at least me, I need
Yeah,
a little bit more
for
detail.
you only I am asking, brother. I am asking someone to explain. Again, if it is required, I will explain so that
Yes,
other
sir.
can also revise.
Yes, sir.
That's why I am asking to anyone who have understood the backup link.
or high availability. Check. We
Here we configure backup link because if your primary path goes down, then we can use the backup link. Means the connection will not stop. That's why we use backup link, and on the backup link we can configure L2 VPN.
Wow.
Means we can assume that
It can be L2 VPN.
correct.
It
Yeah,
can
it
be
can.
internet, VPN over internet.
Yeah, it can be anything. We can
It
assume
can be
that it is
another
directly
MPLS.
connected. Correct.
Anyone else want to include anything? No one? Yes, Muhammad. Understood now?
No, sir. My question, my concern is actually I know what a backup link is used for. That's not the question here. The question is the your topology, your scenario. What is backup link doing for, and how is it configured? How's it coming into play? That's what I want to understand. Then why was it taken the backup link as OSPF O routes?
So go and learn OSPF routing protocol.
Yeah, no, I understand that. But here in this context,
In this
maybe I
context,
missed something.
see. There is a customer. This customer has simple two sites, side 1 and side 2. Both the sites are connected through one service provider network. There is issue if this service provider goes down. That's why they need one backup link. Here they have one another less bandwidth link. This link is generally called backdoor link. And here most commonly used routing protocol is OSPF. If you are not able to understand how router 6 will advertise side 1 prefix to side 2 in form of LSA1, then learn OSPF routing protocol again. How OSPF
Yeah,
routing protocol
yeah, no,
works.
I understand that. I'm
Then what
only
else?
concerned.
This is only what we have discussed. Nothing else. Here redistributed route in OSPF domain. How OSPF injects redistributed route in the database in form of which LSA?
5.
So is delivered in form of LSA5. If a router is learning one prefix, let's say X, in form of LSA1 and LSA7, which one it will prefer? Which one it will install in routing table? In both the LSA,
1.
same prefix is here. Huh? LSA1. So what you have not understood? Tell me.
So okay, so the primary link, we shut down the primary link.
No.
That
We didn't set the primary link. Primary link is still up.
okay.
Now this link become primary link. That is a bad scenario. You have to fix it.
Okay. Okay. I got it now, sir. Thank you.
Okay, welcome.
Okay.
Anything else, guys? Should I configure it? Or you guys can check. I can move. Here, if I will increase the OSPF cost, will that work? Here, if I will set OSPF cost, let's say 65,000. Right, and here let's say cost is coming 10 or 100. Will it work? Will R7 start preferring my primary link or not? No. First OSPF check network type, route type, then cost. So cost doesn't matter here. If you will try to with configuring higher cost, because like let's suppose you have two internet connection or you have two site, and between these two sites you have two VPN. VPN 1 over any transport. Soon you are going to learn VPN over internet as well. This is VPN over service provider network, right? VPN with MPLS and VPN 2. It can be this MPLS VPN. In SD-WAN also, you will have similar kind of VPN between site. IPsec VPN, right? That is VPN over internet. In SDN, I will discuss that. So there are two VPN, VPN 1, 2, and you are running OSPF over both. In this case, if you want to configure this as primary, you can do it very easily. Here you can increase the cost. Here we can configure cost 10. Here I can configure cost 20. Because from both, on both VPN, it is learning prefixes in LSA 1 only. So if you will implement actual protocol, if you want to practice like real time scenario, then use OSPF routing protocol here between customer and provider, most commonly used. You can also use EIGRP, right? That is good for learning. That's why I had used EIGRP earlier. OSPF, right? Here MPBGP, only MPBGP, and MPLS. MPLS here. This is MPLS domain, core MPLS. After that, redistribution. See, between BGP to OSPF, OSPF to BGP. You should have command on this. A good command. Whatever manipulation we had discussed in OSPF redistribution, like changing metric, those the blah blah things, you can try those all here. Like manipulating metric type, metric. You can configure all OSPF area to reduce the size of database. Imagine if the company's size is, Dell has 1000 sites around the globe. Now, so you know how to manage the OSPF database, how to group multiple router logically, right? After that, when you are done with all redistribution from OSPF into BGP and BGP into OSPF for VRF and VPN v4, because first service provider has separated customer in VRF. That is first task of service provider. Whenever you are going to purchase any connectivity between sites from service provider, first of all service provider will create one VRF and they will assign port in that VRF. Whatever interfaces are connected to your company site, right? This interface is in VRF A, this interface is also in VRF A, right? Both the interfaces are connecting multiple sites of same customer. So VRF actually separate customer prefixes. After that, you can connect one backup link. Here you can directly add one link between R6 and R7 like this. Let's suppose in this topology, what I am going to do, turn it on, turn out R7 also. Like this. As a backup, you can imagine it as a backup link. Between customer edge and provider edge, you can try multiple routing protocol, but here only try OSPF. Right, OSPF with network type point to point. How many of you know the leased line connection? Leased line. Okay, we'll forget. I will come on WAN later. Now, here you can perform manipulation, all the manipulation. And for internet access, if Dell side user or IBM side user want internet access, then you can add one more node here. There is one concept of SAM link. Anyone know SAM link in OSPF? SHAM link. Anyone have idea about SAM link?
No, sir, never heard of that.
All of you. No one have heard. Sam Link in OSPF. Okay, wow. Let's suppose this customer has, IBM has internet in site 1. I think this topology is already configured. Let me access few routers. R1. So IP interface brief exclude unassign. Yes, IP addresses are already configured. Loopback is also there. So IP route OSPF routing protocol is also running, and 1.1.1 and 3.3.3 are reachable through OSPF. So IP VRF is not created, right? On router number 2, I think IP is already configured. So IP interface brief exclude unassign. Yes, so MPLS interface. MPLS is also enabled, but MPBGP session is not there. I think let me check that also. So IP VRF, okay. So MPLS interfaces. MPLS is not activated here. Do so IP interface brief exclude unassign. IP addresses are assigned. Customer routers are I think also configured. Let me see if I'm running any routing protocol here. So IP protocol summary. No, any routing protocol is running connected. So IP interface brief exclude unassign. Good. Right, IP OSPF and MPLS is already configured. Let me see MPLS now on router number 1. So MPLS interfaces. MPLS is not activated. Interface G0/1 MPLS IP. MPLS is enabled. And on R3, so MPLS interface G0/0 MPLS IP. Let me create VRF first to separate the customer. Let me use Notepad for configuration commands. Yes. Can anyone tell me the MPBGP configuration on R1? Or tell me first VRF configuration, IP, VRF, Dell, RD.
1:1. Route targeted 1:1.
Route target, let's say same, or you can 100, 100. Then exit, IP, VRF, IBM.
IBM. Same RDN route.
Then
Then
route
we need
target
to
both
put
import
interface.
and export. Yeah, sorry. Then assign interfaces. Interface
Yes.
G0/2.
2.
IP,
IP and
VRF forwarding.
forwarding. IP
Dell,
address.
Dell.
Yes.
It will assign this interface in Dell, then no shutdown. IP
IP
address
address
16.1.1 255.255.255.0.
255.255.0.
Then
Exit.
interface G0/0 IP VRF
IP VRF forwarding IBM.
forwarding IBM,
No shed. IP
no
address
shut. IP address
14.1.
14.1.1. Then MPBGP or run any routing protocol OSPF. Enable OSPF. Okay, first tell me the BGP config, MPBGP configuration. Router BGP
500.
500. Then neighbor 3.3.3.3.
Remote AS 500.
Remote AS 500. Neighbor 3.3.3 update social back 1.
1.
Anything else?
Then address family.
Address family, VPN
NV4
v4,
unicast VRF dull. No, that neighbor
now here
3.3
you will this neighbor 3.3.3
activated.
activate. Very good.
And
This is R1
typo
configuration.
in update spell.
Hmm? This is R1 configuration.
Typo in update spelling. Update.
Update,
That update source well, yes.
copy and paste on R1. In global configure mode. All the commands are accepted. You can see. Done. Now I will configure R3. On R3, VRF configuration is going to be same. Interface D0/2 is in del VRF, good. IP address
37.3.
37.1.1.3. Interface D0/1 VRF IBM IP address 35.1.3. Router BGP 500 neighbor 1.1.1.
That neighbor 1.1.1 and that neighbor 1.1.1.
Copy and paste on R3. Now my MP BGP session come up. Go to R1 and check. So IP BGP VPN v4 all summary. Here you can see neighborship is
Up.
up. Now you need to perform routing between customer edge and provider edge. Interfaces are configured. So if you want to enable OSPF routing protocol on R1 for Dell VRF and IBM VRF for both the VRF. Have you guys tried OSPF routing protocol for VRF? IP OSPF, IP OSPF 1. What is the command? Router OSPF VR1 VRF. Router OSPF 1 VRF Dell. What it's saying? Dell VRF doesn't exist. Do so VRF Dell router OSPF 1 VRF SSI does not match existing router. Okay, OSPF process 1 is already running, right? So I can note config. This is running for global. For IPv4, I can note configure OSPF process 1 for VRF, right? This is the reason why we have OSPF process ID. See the use case of process ID. Router OSPF 2 VRF
Set to
2 VRF Dell. And here network. How you advertise prefixes in OSPF? Similarly, you will advertise here 16.1.1. 0, wildcard mask 0.0.255, and area, let's say it is in area 0. Now let's enable OSPF on customer is also config T, router OSPF 1, let's say network 0.0.0.255.255.255.255 area 0. So IP OSPF neighbor ping 16.1.1.1 ping is working. So IP OSPF interface brief OSPF is enabled. Go to R1. So IP OSPF interface. So IP OSPF DR other. Now OSPF neighborship is up here. You can configure network type point to point. What R6 will do, customer is will advertise this subnet 192.1.1.0 to CP router with the help of OSPF. On R1 you can verify this. So IP route VRF Dell. In Dell VRF you can see provider edge is learning this prefix, right? LAN subnet of customer A, and next of IP address is C router. Good. But R1 is not going to install it in BGP. So IP BGP VPN v4 all. In BGP table you can see we don't have prefix. So R1 will not advertise it to R3, right? Here R1 is learning in OSPF process 2. This subnet, this prefix is coming in form of OSPF in process 2, and OSPF process 1 is running over here. Don't expect that you will redistribute OSPF into this OSPF. This OSPF is running for customer service provider. Providers are running this OSPF. Provider has enabled OSPF for your VRF. That's it. Now test it. Neighborship and routing table. You can check OSPF database and other things as well. Now question is how to redistribute. Go to router BGP 500 address family IPv4 unicast VRF Dell and redistribute OSPF process 2. Let me enable OSPF between P and this customer edge like C1 CE1 of IBM side A, side 1, sorry, IBM side 1. On router number 1 config T router OSPF process 3 for VRF IBM network. Here you can also run 0.0.0 command, but it will only enable OSPF on the interfaces which are part of VRF IBM. It will only advertise enable OSPF on G0/0, not on all interface. Area 0, wildcard mask.
Four time 255.
Right, then enable on this router also customer edge, enable config T and router OSPF1 network 0.0.0 255.255.255.255 and area 0. Now on router number 1 I'm expecting same prefix in both VRF routing table. So IP route VRF Dell, in Dell VRF routing table 192.1.1.0 and in IBM VRF routing table also. So in IBM we don't have this prefix. Maybe OSPF is taking some time. Till then you can try to troubleshoot. Ping 14.1.1. First check IP connectivity. IP connectivity is done. So IP OSPF neighbor. OSPF neighbor is in two-way state. Soon it is coming in full state. No problem. After this, on R3, on this edge router also I will enable OSPF router OSPF to VRF Dell and network 0.0.0 255.255.255.255 area 0, and then IP OSPF 3 for VRF IBM, and again network 0.0.0. Then go to R7 and R8 on these two customer edge. Router OSPF1 network 0.0.0 area 0, and R8 do so history. Oh, this router is not configured. R5 is not configured. Okay, no problem. Router OSPF1 network 0.0.0 area 0. Both sides have configured same area, but customers are still not learning other side prefixes, correct? You can see here only connected LAN submit is there. On R6 also you can check on a router. Why redistribution? So on R1 let me perform redistribution. Go to router BGP AS number 500, say address family IPv4 unicast VRF Dell, and redistribute OSPF process 2. Do you want to use how we redistribute prefixes in BGP? You can define the metric value, you can configure route map, you can use route map, but here I am not going to use anything, just say redistribute OSPF2. Now do so IP BGP VPN v4 all. Now you can see it has installed this prefix in VRF Dell, VPN v4 prefix. So similarly I will redistribute other OSPF also in IBM VRF, redistribute OSPF process 3. On R3 router BGPS number 500 address family IPv4 unicast VRF Dell, and redistribute OSPF process ID 2. Exit address family IPv4 unicast VRF IBM, redistribute OSPF process ID 3, process ID 3. Done. Now if you will check customer sites, let me take you to R6 and so IP route OSPF. Route is not coming, right? Let me troubleshoot it. Go to R1, check BGP table, so IP BGP VPN v4 all. Here you can see BGP table on R1. This is the BGP table for VRF Dell. This is the BGP table for VRF IBM. Here we have these two LAN subnet. Good. All the attributes are, you can see BGP attributes. Its prefix is valid as well as best when it is learning receiving from another side. So why customers are not learning prefixes, right? Between providers, provider edge, R1 is advertising both prefix to both these two prefix in different VRF to R3, but R3 is not advertising to customer. Here also customers are advertising to provider, provider are advertising to other side, but providers are not advertising to customer. Redistribution. Now we need to redistribute BGP into
GB and
OSPF.
OS. Yes.
That's why I told you, if you will configure BGP, you don't need to configure redistribution, but OSPF is also commonly used. We are using both protocol. In a small network, most of the time OSPF. So on R1, router OSPF to VRF Dell and redistribute BGPS number 500. You all know how we redistribute prefixes in OSPF. Here subnet, and then you can define the metric value, whatever, or you can leave it on default. Then it will use seed metric. Let's say metric I'm saying 100. Exit. Then router OSPF process ID 3 VRF IBM and redistribute BGP 500 with metric same. Now on R6 I am expecting route. Now you can see R6, which is C1 router inside one, learning side to prefix. Good. Go to R4, the IBM side one, so IP route OSPF. Yes, it is also learning. Go to another side 2, so IP route OSPF. Yes, here it is not learning the prefix. I think we didn't perform redistribution on R3. Go to router OSPF to VRF Dell and redistribute BGP S number 500 subnet metric 100. Exit router OSPF process 3 VRF IBM and redistribute 10. Now go to R7 side 2 and check. Done. Side 1 prefix on R5. Done. Great. Now if you will check connectivity, go to R6 and check connectivity. Ping 192.168.2.1, source 192.168.1.1. Ping is working, everything is good. You can check customer 2 as well. Ping 192.168.2.1 and source source 192.168.1.1. Okay, done. From the primary link everything is working. Now let me add this backup link, so let me take you to R6, which is customer edge router interface G0/2, no shutdown. IP address, let's say here my subnet is 172.16.1.1, 255.255.255.0. Exit on router number 7, interface G0/2, no shutdown, and IP address 172.16.1.2, 255.255.255.0. Now if you will check routing table of R7, do so IP route OSPF, then you can see there is single path for this subnet. This is the LAN subnet of side 1, single path via 37.3. 37.3 is R3. Now I am going to enable OSPF on the backup link. Go, on R7, do so run section OSPF. I think I am running network 0.0.0 command. Do so IP OSPF neighbor. You can see there are 2 neighbor. Now if you will check routing table again, do so IP route OSPF, you can see best path is via which router now? Best path is our backup link, correct? This is the issue. My primary link is MPBGP L3 VPN. Understood, guys? Why? Because check OSPF database. So IP OSPF database. How to fix it? Anyone? This is your question, guys. In next class, just find the manipulation here. How to now again you will prefer this path. Now best path is this one, right? Now all the traffic will go from this path. Like if I will show you the trace route output, let me take you to customer is router R6. On R6 also show IP route OSPF. Now you can see 192.1.2.0 is best from this next hop 172.16.1.2. No, I don't want this. I want this should be my backup link. If I will show the trace route 192.168.2.1 and source 192.168.1.1 numeric, see traffic is going over backup link. Why is primary link down? No, primary link is still up. If you build down backup link for a moment, interface is 0/2 shut down, and then if you will trace route or if you will check routing table, then you can see best path is again via service provider. Next hop is 16.6. Again my traffic will go through primary path. You can see it is going to 16.2. Great. Again when backup link will come up, interface D0/2, no shutdown, all traffic will start going through this backup link. You need to find solution of this. And for internet access, see Dell, for Dell connectivity is important. For IBM connectivity and internet, they need their user employees need internet access also. So on router number 4, let me configure internet. Which link it is? I think your router was up to right. Let me close this router for a moment. Let me connect it. Now start it. Start this router also. R4 and internet. Which device it is? Okay. On R4, let me configure one public IP here. Interface G0/2, no shutdown, IP address, let's say 101.1.1, 255.255.255.0. I will configure .2 on internet router. Then IP route 0.0, default route 0.0.0, and exit interface is 0/2. Next hop IP address 101.1.2. Done. On the internet router is booting. It will take some time. Till then, on router number 4, I am going to enable NAT. Interface G0/2, IP NAT outside. Interface G0/0 LAN interface. IPNAT inside access list number 10 permit any IPNAT inside source match source from list number 10, translate it into the IP address list number 10 source list 10 interface G0/2 overload. NAT is enabled. Now if we will configure just IP addresses on internet router, just I am going to configure IP address and I will create one loopback for testing. Now LAN user can access internet from here. If there is a LAN user here, they can access internet easily, no problem. See, on the internet router, config t interface loopback 1 for testing. I am creating one loopback with IP 8.8.8 255.255.255.0 exit interface G0/0 no shutdown IP address 101.1.2.255.255.255.0 done. Go to R4 and ping 8.8.8 ping 8.8.8 ping is working. From the WAN port I am able to ping. Let me check from the LAN port. Source fast ethernet, sorry, not fast ethernet, G0/0. See, from LAN interface also I am able to ping 8.8.8 means internet is accessible. Can site to user access internet? No, they don't have default route. So default route is here, so IP route. Now you need to propagate this default route to branch 2 through service provider. So you know how we redistribute default route in OSPF. Router OSPF1 is running. Here you will say default information originate. Now it will start advertising default route. Go to R1 and check VRF IBM routing table. So IP route VRF IBM. See, default route is coming. Yes, default route is coming. Who is advertising? OSPF routing protocol is advertising. Now R1 will advertise to another P router R3. So you can verify it on R3 as well. So IP route VRF IBM. So in IBM VRF routing table here we don't have default route. We don't have default route. By default, BGP doesn't advertise default route to their neighbor. So router BGP is number 500 address family IPv4 unicast VRF IBM and default information originate. You can say always also. Now on R3 I am expecting default route. It will not work like this. I think exit neighbor 3.3.3.3 default information originate or address family VPN v4 neighbor 3.3.3.3 default. This command is not available here for VPN v4 R3. So IP route we don't have default route here. So what happened? Why it is not advertising default route? Do so IP BGP VPN v4 all. It has not installed it in BGP table as well, the default route, which is coming from OSPF. You can try to solve this issue as well. User in branch 1, side 1 is able to access internet, but user in side 2 is not able to access internet. Why? Because default route is not present. You need to propagate this default route here, OSPF, here BGP, right? So try to fix these two issues. One, Backup path is the best path between side 1 and side 2. How to fix it? I want this path should be my backup primary path, this should be backup path. And here for internet access, I want other side users should also be allowed to access internet, or should be able to access internet. Okay, so just I have discussed two issues in our MP BGP scenario. If you guys want to go deep, so you can try to configure it and fix the issue, both the issue. Both side users should be allowed able to access internet, and Dell users should prefer service provider network MPLS VPN for best. That's all for
So can you please share the NAT configuration? So just